Hello guys, welcome everybody to Mando Monday. This is the series where you guys ask the questions and I, of course, answer them. This can be to do with anything related to Counter-Strike, Global Offensive, CSGO investing, or any current or future update related one. If that's Source 2, an operation, or something we all hope is going to be coming very soon, that is of course some sort of new case or maybe an operation release, but that's probably not going to happen. If you guys have any questions regarding any of that or something more miscellaneous like myself, Lego, Star Wars, leave it down below of this comment section or any other one of my videos, ask Mando, and then ask your question. It's usually easiest and best for me to find it that way. As it goes for this week, we actually have probably the most amount of questions I've ever picked for a Mando Monday, that being 15. Now, are they all going to make it into the full cut? I'm not 100% sure, but it should be one of the longer ones with some big juicers as well. Right before that, we have a quick PSA.
Now, today's video sponsor is, of course, Skins Monkey. Skins Monkey is currently the easiest and also fastest way you can buy, but most importantly, trade your CSGO skins. All you have to do is make sure you have your trade link, and on your first trade, if you have a leftover balance, it goes towards your current balance that can be used the next time you end up trading skins. It has 3 ways you can inspect, but most importantly has a very in-depth inspect feature that you can see corners on a karambit, for an example, that you can't really see otherwise unless you have the item in-game. If you end up topping up your balance, make sure to use promo code MANDO to get up to a 35% deposit bonus and a free $5 on the first trade.
So quickly going into our PSA here, sorry for not uploading Saturday on the 14th. We kind of broke our streak of daily uploads for the past few months. Kind of needed it for mental health, but I've read the comments and I couldn't be more appreciative and thankful for such a supportive fan base. But then again, I am a daily uploader and a CSGO fan. For me, watching CSGO, there's hardly any daily creative content. That's what I've done the past little while and kind of filled this void the past 2 years. So thank you. As it goes for updates, I'm pretty much certain Rio's removal should happen in the next little while. I feel like I keep repeating myself over it, but since they're not making a whole lot of money, maybe they're not sure what they want to put out next, that being a case or operation case. They're just kind of delaying it. So whenever the new item does come to the shop, they're going to want to remove Rio so all the limelight's on the new one. It's kind of just a matter of time. They're not being bought, they're not being applied. That'll be pretty interesting. And we're coming up here on 15K here pretty soon, so I'm thinking we do some sort of room tour. I'm not 100% sure. Let me know what you guys think down below. Let's hop right into the questions. Now, our first one up here is more of a comment, but he says, RMR is better than Rio. And well, good sir, I'm going to have to 100% agree with you on that because I do think RMR is a lot better than Rio. I think RMR is heavily underrated, especially for some comparisons to Rio. For example, I'm going to take the OG. I'm going to take the foil from RMR. It's 17 cents. There's 400 of them on the market with probably hundreds of thousands of more of these things in people's inventories. You compare it to the Holo from 2022, which supposedly is better, especially for that price, 96 for 89 cents. You can almost get 10 of these, especially if you're buying on a place like Buff for the one price of a Rio sticker. And Rio's just looks like a complete blob. I think it looks a little more clean. The only thing people don't like about RMR is it was a failed investment, oversaturated. They are cheap, and because it's cheap, people don't really find them to be very cool. And that's usually what happens with a lot of CS items. And for people who want to use that argument against Rio, well, Rio is already pretty expensive for what it is, and I don't like it whatsoever. So I think RMR takes the crown and takes the king on that one for sure. Our next question up here is from Ill Gameplay, and he says, ask Mando, what do you think the future is of 2019 Berlin stickers? With all the hype going to Stockholm and Antwerp, people are eventually going to get tired and maybe want to try out something a little different or a little older, that being Berlin 2019. So in 4 to 8 years, it'll be a little more fresh and cool. What do you think? So Berlin 2019, I think, is a little bit different than everything else. I think these are the most hated on stickers, at least in the recent years, besides Rio, just because of their looks. It reminds me of 2015 stickers. They're just not that interesting. They're very hard to match up with. Even something like Face It 2018, I think, is a little better. But with Stockholm and Antwerp getting hype, I think you do make a point here. I think in the next couple of years, people are going to want to try different things. And 4 to 8 years, especially 8, is a very long time. That means CSGO will have been around for almost 20 years. Will that be the case? I don't think so. But I mean, in that time period, you could just do so many other things, right? Sure, they'll grow. It's just, I don't know if they're going to be worth it for you to hold on to them for that long. But I think with other stickers, it's just kind of waiting for them to have their time to shine. Same thing with Stockholm and Antwerp, right? Stockholm and Antwerp were bound to go up in the first place because of their good looks and decently low supply, especially there's something that we asked for the past 10 years and we finally got them. Now they're exclusive. So hopefully that answered your question. Our next question, more so common up here from Eden. He says, I want Zeus, Season, and Logs back. So I do agree with you in Season and Logs, but Zeus right off the bat is my favorite operation map of all time. I'm not sure what it is about this map. It is just so much fun. I believe this released in Operation Bloodhound in 2017. Just such a good map, so nostalgic, and just the layout makes a lot of sense. Now, is this competitively viable in a pro scene, pro game? Probably not. The nade lineups aren't really there. It's more of just a run and gun, a lot of tight corners. People are going to use different guns and different things, but this was one of the operation maps that you could always queue up for during the operation and people would be playing it, which is pretty cool. Because the problem CSGO has is, well, whenever there's an operation or some sort of event with a different map going on, maybe different game mode, no one is playing the said game mode. So that kind of gets a little boring, little repetitive. You know, after 2 weeks, people are going to start to go back and play Mirage. It's the same thing we're seeing with Anubis right now. Yes, the wait times are pretty short, but you know, in the next couple of weeks, maybe 3 or 4 weeks, we're going to start to see that go up more and more. Now, our next question up here is from Lightning Fair, and he says, ask Mando, why is the Dreams and Nightmares case more expensive than the Recoil case on the Steam market if the Recoil case is newer? So you do prove a point, and you are right on that. Why is the Dreams and Nightmares case a little more expensive than the newest case inside CSGO that came out 200 days ago? And the reason this is a good question is it's very confusing for some people since the Recoil case has been the most unboxed case inside CS the past little while. That doesn't mean it's always the most expensive, but in this case it probably should be because of supply and demand. But if we take a look at the most important thing in both of these cases, that being the golds, especially what a lot of people try to unbox in a case, the Recoil case doesn't really take the king on this one. It's more so of the Dreams and Nightmares. Mainly being the Recoil case has gloves and people aren't really too interested in that, while the Dreams and Nightmares is a little older, but yet it has very rare special items, that being of course the Riptide knives that are only found in the Riptide case besides this. The Riptide case pushing that $2 point is pretty much unobtainable for most people, with the Dreams and Nightmares case still dropping. It has some decent skins in it. It's actually very profitable to unbox this as well compared to a lot of others, and on top of that the knives just kind of take the cake there. Our next question, more so common up here, is from Alexander. He says, don't forget we got the 10-year birthday sticker capsule and a birthday cake pin. And of course what this guy's talking about is when I made my video 200 days later from CSGO's last update. Pretty much it's been 200 days since we got the last major update inside CS. Yes, we got Anubis. Yes, we got the 10th anniversary, but he's kind of proving my point in this comment. The fact that CSGO's been around for 10 years says it enough. That's absolutely crazy. Most AAA studios can't put a game or a franchise together longer than 10 years, besides very few. Pretty much the only people, and the reason why CS is here today is because of the community, because of the workshop, and because of skins. And the fact we didn't get an operation or any sort of news or leak towards anything was very, very sad, and they dropped the ball on that one. And all we got was a birthday pin and a birthday sticker capsule, which arguably is one of the best ones they've added to CSGO ever, but still, it's pretty nuts. Top also replies to my comment to this guy, would have been the perfect time to drop Source 2, and I have to agree with that as well. Source 2 most likely wasn't ready at this time, maybe still isn't. Maybe they need another 3 or 4 years to work on it. We're not sure. What we do know is they've been working on it since 2017. You know, some communication from the devs would have been pretty nice. Maybe what it will change inside CSGO in the long run of things. Maybe they were too worried to talk to people and tell people in the community that in case they would sell their skins and leave CSGO, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. Releasing Source 2 alongside an operation would have been the best bet, best opportunity to do so when the 10th anniversary came around. That's why everyone, including myself, was so excited about it. But of course, once again, they dropped the ball. Now, our next question up here is from Elemental, and he says, have you watched The Bad Batch Season 2 yet? What are your thoughts? So yes, I have actually, and I gotta say right off the bat, besides the first couple episodes of Season 1, this is by far my favorite Star Wars show they have put together probably since The Mandalorian. It's just very, very nice to see kind of like the Clone Wars style animation, but it's like you're watching the Clone Wars once again, right? It's just with better graphics because there's a lot of droids in the show, at least the first few episodes. Not gonna spoil a whole lot, but it's very cool. And I guess I can say this because it was in the trailer, but Commander Cody's in it, and the fact that we haven't seen him, I believe, in 15 or 16 years since Revenge of the Sith, that was very, very nice to see as well. Our next question up here is from Tip, and he says, ask Mando, I'm looking into buying a classic knife aid, but I've been holding off hoping for a new case that'll have the same finishes for newer knives. Do you think the classic knife aid will go down in price if they come out with another finish, of course, for the classic knife? This is a pretty good question. It's not one I've gotten a whole lot recently, but it's something to take a look at for sure. Classic knife, very similar to all other knives, has been one of those that have just kind of gone up in price a whole lot this past little while. This is the past 6 months on a place like Buff, so it's pretty crazy. 6 months ago it was $400, 414-ish. It had an all-time high of 536, and actually 2 times what it was worth, a little over that actually, which was pretty nuts. Then we're here now at $492. So I actually don't think the classic knife is going to get reintroduced anytime soon for a couple of different reasons. This was kind of a callback to the older games of Counter-Strike and kind of a one-off case. That's at least how I like to see it. Don't see it getting reintroduced, especially because it wasn't very popular and still isn't. Out of all the cases that were being unboxed at the time, and even nowadays, it doesn't compete whatsoever. Most people are going to take a karambit, a bayonet, or maybe even a gut knife over something like this. It's pretty cool, but it still looks like a glorified butter knife. So that's my reason for it not getting reintroduced. And if a new case comes out, well, yeah, everything gets affected, but I don't think something like this is going to drop 30% for something that you're probably looking for. If you want to buy in and get one of these yourself just to play with it in game, it's probably the best opportunity to do so right now. You don't want to buy up here. You want to buy down here in case it does it again and then comes back down, if it makes any sense. Let me know what you guys think down below. Do you guys think the classic knife is going to get reintroduced? I don't think so, but that's just me. Now, our next question up here is from Heshen, and he says, what do you think of people investing into large Lego sets now? Another hobby turned into a stock market, or is it good for the Lego community? community. So my thoughts on investing into Lego, it depends on the person. It's a little different than CS. Actually, it's a lot different. CS, you more so play with these things, right? On a daily basis, look at them in game. For me, I can stream, I can make videos with them, so it's pretty entertaining. So I get use out of them besides them just sitting somewhere. Lego's a little different. I feel like it's different for every individual. Like for me, I'll buy a couple $300 or $400 sets, let them sit in my closet, like the Mos Eisley Cantina. And of course, the UCS Gunship. I plan on picking up second copies of those for May 4th. Until I get a house one day, they're going to be displayed in there. I just don't have the room for them right now. So over that time period, they're probably going to accumulate a couple, maybe $300 or $400 along the way. And well, if I want to sell them in that time period, that's what you can do. I feel like at the very beginning of CS and Lego, for a lot of people, it wasn't necessarily an investment. It was kind of just sitting there. It was a hobby turned to an investment because it was able to be sold for that price. It's like when I bought a whole bunch of Lego sets 3 years ago before all the stuff started, when people were trapped inside, a lot of my sets that I had that were older went up, 4 or 5x, especially for the Clone Wars when that show aired back on. The same thing's said with Katowice stickers when people bought them all the way back in 2014. You didn't really think of it as an investment. You kind of just bought it for a collection for yourself. And that's where I see it. Now, is it good for the community? I would say yes and no. Kind of very similar to CS. It was kind of bound to happen, especially with how much things actually do go up. Has it hurt investing in Lego? For sure, I would say, because there's whole communities now built off of that. I think if we're investing in a larger sets, the same thing that I'm doing is probably what the majority of people are doing as well. It's an investment, yes, but over time, I'm going to eventually build it anyway. So it's like, it is and it isn't, if you kind of get my picture, kind of get the point here. Now, our next question up here is from Vac Sucks. And while I couldn't agree more with your name, he says, ask Mando, what is your thoughts on MLG Columbus 2016? Do you think it can go up? So these stickers, funny enough, I actually built an inventory based off of a lot of these foils, which weren't this price a couple months ago. And it was pretty enjoyable. It was something different. It changed up a lot of things. I made a lot of one-of-one crafts because they're not very interesting for a lot of people, especially when you have Stockholm and Antwerp going on for a quarter of the price. You're probably just going to go into those rather than this. But very similar to other stickers, and like I've talked about in the past couple of Mando Mondays, there's just a lot of other options on the market. And for the majority of people, they like other options that just look better for a cheaper price. You got to think of it that way. If you have a Cloud9 Antwerp sticker, just throwing this out there, let's just say for $8 in the market when you have this for $11, it's more recent, looks transparent, for the most part looks better, and this is very, very niche at a time probably a lot of people right now were not playing back then, besides maybe you and I. But I think they do have an opportunity. It's just very niche. You're gonna have to wait for it over time. You have to have a lot of capital, I think, to buy something like this that's very niche. And for these things to go up because they're so low in quantity, all it really takes is someone wanting to craft an inventory like myself. I believe right here in around October to November, this was me shooting up the price of these stickers because I was just buying them from my inventory. So if you want to make like $4 or $5 a sticker over the course of like 5 years, be my guest. You also have things like the Luminosity Hollow, which were pretty much pumped by Oni, not intentionally. It just happens. So that was pretty interesting. I don't really think it's worth your time probably to go in that. It's just too niche. Our next comment, more so question up here, is from Nate, and he says, finally, Subman, been watching you for the past few weeks, and your content and philosophy is good. Been missing Zeus, and I think you have the potential to do what he did and rise as quickly due to honest opinions on skins and the scene. I mean, that's pretty much what I've done the past 2 years, and I like Zeus too. I've been watching him since 2019, and he doesn't upload anymore, really. At least as frequent as he used to, especially on the main channel. And every single day this past couple of years, I've tried to fill that void because I know there's a lot of people like myself who love CSGO out there that maybe don't make content, and there's not a whole lot of people that do, right? Especially on a daily basis. So I'm glad you enjoy. Thank you, thank you. Now, our second to last question up here is kind of put into two different questions that I'll answer together. And the first one up here is from Jordan, and he says, watch Valve come out with Cato 14 level stickers for the next major. All they need is some really clean holo effects like the kill count holo, liquid fire holo, or boost holo, and Stockholm stickers would get annihilated. So I pretty much have to 100% disagree with you on this. The past 2 years, I don't think you're going to be able to get better or closer to Katowice 2014, most likely ever again. If they did, Valve would be going in a very dark and bad territory, in my personal opinion. It's something they don't want to do, because once they do that, it's going to shut people down from, one, reinvesting and buying into newer stickers because they're not going to feel comfortable. Two, they're not going to feel as rare, and this is my biggest problem. Rarity inside CS is hitting a point where Valve has kind of made everything. That's what it seems to be right now. How much more can they do without repeating or copying things like they did with Stockholm and Antwerp? Those are two stickers people begged for the past 10 years. The quantity is relatively pretty low, especially for how many people bought them at the time. And for as good as they look, and for a lot of those teams, they're not going to be coming back. They're going to be pretty exclusive, and people are always going to go back to those because of their name. Now, the question that ties into this is from Eternal Productions, and he says, I'm wondering if I should sell Stockholm capsules before the Paris major, or try and keep them and hope that Valve won't release better looking stickers for Paris, because I don't know if they can release another trash year of stickers like Rio. What do you guys think? Do you think Stockholm got much bigger potential? Thanks to all reacting. So right off the bat, what I will say, if you've bought a lot of Stockholm capsules recently, then you should probably reevaluate a lot of things, in my personal opinion. And this goes with Antwerp as well, not just Stockholm. Stockholm. Same thing with stickers from both because they're so similar. If this is something you're worried about, which I don't think is going to happen, take that with a grain of salt, and take it with a grain of salt that they might release something completely different. You should probably get rid of them, right? Especially if you might be losing money and you bought at a very high time. Now, if you bought during the 75% off sale, most people are not going to care because most people know the $1 Challengers capsule days for Stockholm are pretty much over. Antwerp is a completely different story, but your main question is on Stockholm. I think they're going to be pretty fine. I think if Paris releases pretty good looking stickers are a little different than Rio, which that's definitely the direction they're going into. Are they going to release transparent stickers again like Kato and Stockholm? Probably not, but they could. And if they do look a little better maybe than Stockholm or on par, I don't think Stockholm is going to go down. It's more so just going to stay at what it is right now, maybe go down a little bit, but it's not completely over for it, right? I think what we've seen this past year is we've gotten so many good looking stickers that it's delayed Stockholm and Antwerp, like we discussed earlier in the video, going up. Like when we had the 10th anniversary capsule, we had Antwerp, we had the boardroom capsule, we had so many other things along the way. It's put all the main attention onto the newer things rather than Stockholm up until now, and that's exactly what it's done. It's just gone absolutely berserk because of that. I think it'll just take a little longer before it goes up even more. And as it goes with Antwerp, if you bought in a lot of these high prices right now that you're seeing on the market, I would say that's pretty unstable. Not my most favorite thing in the world. It's now official that I think all of the capsules, I believe, are 100% profitable from when you bought them on the 75% off sale, which that's something I didn't think I would say for the next couple of years, but it seems to be now. Those are probably a little more shaky because they're a little over that 25-cent mark, but as long as Stockholm goes well, which I think it's going to, those will stay afloat as well. Let me know what you guys think. I have a couple of videos this week on the Paris major concepts of what the stickers I think are going to look like from some very talented artists in the community. So I'm very excited for that. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think they're going a completely different direction from what they've done the past couple of years, mainly with Rio, of course? Do you think we're going back to Stockholm, or are they going on a brand new path? Maybe let's just use an example. If this was possible, Stockholm 2021 stickers, Krakow 2017, and DreamHack 2014 all have a kid. What is that going to give us? More of a triangle sticker that would look pretty cool. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's episode of Mando Monday. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.